I moved up here with $200. I sold my Jeep in Florida, quit my job, broke my lease, moved up here with no plan, and I only had $200 to my name, and I was broke for a long fucking time. What's up, everybody? It's me, Nate. I've been meaning to make this video for a long time, but I feel like now is the proper time to do it. And I just want to tell the truth and be completely honest and transparent about how all of this came about. How I left Florida, how I came up here and started throwing events, how I ended up, managing artists, musicians, painters, working with professional fighters. I started my screen printing company, how I got into signage, wrapping semi-trucks, working on 40-foot murals, you know what I'm saying? Booking shows, traveling so much, going to all these different cities and states for all these different events, how I ended up meeting all the people that I know, how I got into interviewing people, how that all came about and what the process was like through that, and then also where I'm at now, how I view it all now, how I view myself now, even because that relationship has changed with myself so much, and where I'm headed, because from this moment forward is a pretty focused journey towards actually deploying all the skills, opportunities and relationships that I've amassed over the years towards building a real foundation for representing and managing artists, musicians and entrepreneurs, and connecting them with higher opportunities, whether that's building out my screen printing company and really expanding and making that a well-oiled machine and, starting to give people jobs, starting to really scale up. I want to show that process and share that journey because I'm sure that there's tons of people that are around my age that want to start something, are entrepreneurs at heart, or want to travel more or want to get into the creative scene more, and they just don't know how to do it. And I didn't know how to do it. I would leave high school, go to the fucking library for hours and watch interviews about, how does Pharrell come up with ideas? How do all these people, how do they all do this? How do they build these businesses? And still to this day I do, but I remember just being so mystical back then. Like, how did all these people do that? And I want to share my story and my journey because I think that it might help demystify it for people. I've gotten tons of questions over the years. Nate, where the fuck is this money coming from? If you know me, I haven't had a job in 7 years. Okay, well, how the fuck have you been able to sustain and travel and go to all these places and, buy all this shit and buy all this equipment and, I've got a building that I've been working on for however long, it's got a recording studio in it, I've got an office downstairs, I've got a screen printing shop, I've got a art studio, got all this shit. How the fuck did this even come about? I feel like that's important because I think sometimes it's outside looking in, it looks like it just happened or something, or, maybe you just got lucky, but none of it was luck. I mean, well, it was divine more than it was luck. I moved up here with $200. I sold my Jeep in Florida, quit my job, broke my lease, moved up here with no plan, and I only had $200 to my name, and I was broke for a long fucking time. And that was a big struggle because I didn't want to get a job, and eventually I ended up getting a job serving, but I always knew, I wanted to have my own thing. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to have my own business. I just didn't know what that was going to be, and I followed my heart, and I ended up becoming an independent contractor for the state as a respite therapist for children and adults with autism, and eventually had 7 clients. Did that pretty much full time while I was doing everything else, like throwing events, working at the boxing gym, working at the creative space, and running around meeting people. I was using that money to buy me air cover to be able to do all these other things and learn all these other things, so that way I could put myself further ahead in the future. I used all that money to throw events. I used all that money to travel. Even over the years, it was up and down with finance. It was never anything guaranteed because it's hard to make money on the road. So, if I'm traveling, a lot of times I'm spending money, I'm not making it. And I come back and I got to scramble and save up another couple, $100 or $1,000 or so dollars. It was up and down for a long time. And, I could have saved a lot more had I not traveled, but I needed to travel because I needed to make those, investments in my future, investments in building up a network, investments in learning a new city, investments in just the experience for myself. So I don't regret anything. It's like I look back and I'm like, fuck, I spent a lot of fucking money. But it's like I wouldn't have the experience and insight that I have now. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of struggle. It took a lot of learning. I fucked up a lot. I had mad behavioral deficiencies and personality deficiencies when I moved up here. Grew up in a really aggressive environment, a really violent, high pressure environment. And it took me a long time to rectify these personality deficiencies within myself. And, the way I interacted with people was not the healthiest, and the way I communicated wasn't the healthiest. And I'm totally aware of that, and I take accountability for that. And you can't change it overnight. You have to really build tools and an understanding with self and change the relationship you have with yourself and the way you talk to yourself before you can do that. And, I've come so far and I've learned so much, and I am so grateful for everybody that's been so patient with me over the years, everybody that's taught me, or given me an opportunity. And I just want to reflect back on that because I think it's really important. I've pretty much filmed almost every day of my life for the last 7 years. And I've filmed over 100 interviews and conversations with people. I filmed so many trips, so many events, so many just projects. I filmed how we worked on every mural we've done. I filmed all these people working on their mural, asked them questions in between. That stuff is valuable. And I think if I put it out now, I can give clearer context and perspective on what was actually going on in those moments. I think that will be useful for people. And I want to be transparent about my life too and tell people, man, I struggled with drinking for a long time, still do. Less, I've come a long, long way, but man, alcohol really took a hold of me for a while, and so did drugs, so did Xanax. I've done all kinds of drugs in my life, and it was really hard to get away from them. And it's really hard too being in a creative world where a lot of it, there's a blurred line between partying and business. That can cause you to relapse and fall down the hill. And you got to be really aware of your surroundings and put things and systems in place to keep you going. And that took me a long time to figure out. Going to the gym, staying in the gym, hitting the sauna, swimming, getting a good diet, making sure that you're actually, exercising your creative abilities, making sure you're reading, making sure you're writing. I write poetry. I've written 4 books. I've written over 4 books worth of poetry, and most of it hasn't seen the light of day beyond my Instagram story. I've worked on tons of paintings. I've designed tons of clothes, blah, blah, blah. And what I've learned through that was a big self-discovery push and, self-exploration. But what I learned through all of that was like, we are capable of so much, but it really comes down to your core foundation as a human in regards to how far are you going to be able to take it. I know a lot of talented people that just fell short because they didn't have certain internal core skills or emotional skills. And I want to talk about all that. And I want to also give context, like I said, about where I'm at now, show you guys what I'm doing on the day-to-day to work towards building a stronger foundation for all my endeavors. And then also talk about where I'm headed in the future. What does this all look like at the end of it? I've had a pretty strong and clear vision for the last 7 years. I've known what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a massive creative empire, whether that's on the agency, branding, marketing, design, signage, merchandising, production side, or whether that's on the representing artists, throwing events, connecting people with other people, facilitating projects. It's all one big ecosystem in my mind. But I realize, being an entrepreneur and a visionary does not make you a great operator and executor all the time. It doesn't also make you a good leader. I have leadership qualities, but there's certain things that need to be developed to keep consistency so other people can work with you in a way that's easy for them to understand and continue to do. For me, I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm happy to have all of my time to myself. I haven't had to do anything I haven't wanted to do in a really long time. I make all my own decisions. I'm my own boss, and I have been for a long time. But not everybody's cut out for that, right? And I think I needed to realize that in order to get people to work with me, I needed to become a better communicator and a stronger leader. And that's a journey that I'm wanting to share as well, and hopefully gain insight from people on the other side of the camera that are seeing this, that are going through something similar or have gone through something similar. Conversations I've had with people who are leaders. I got insight from Gary Vee. I got insight from Elliott Wilson. I've got insight from people that don't just own businesses around town. I've got insight from artists as to how they've built their careers, just conversations. I would put my phone up, sit down, have somebody next to me and just talk to them for 20, 30 minutes off the top of my head. I've never written down any questions. Like just all stream of conscious, asking people questions that I wanted to know. And I genuinely think that's valuable for other people. So if you've kept up with me over the years, and if you're still fucking watching this for some reason, I just want to say thank you, and that I'm really excited to get deeper on all of this because it's been a great adventure. It's really been beautiful. I'm really so proud of everything that I've been able to do and everything that I've been able to do with people And I really want to talk about it because I know that there's somebody that's going to end up watching this that they're going to have better ideas than I had, you know, and they're going to be able to take my mistakes and my lessons and take it way further, you know, or maybe somebody will see this and they'll connect with me, and somebody in Rhode Island or Montana will be like, hey man, like, love what you're doing, whatever, come out here. Like, that's how the world works for me, you know. This isn't about numbers, this isn't about attention, this isn't about me, you know, making it the Nathan Show as much as it's about me creating context, because I really want deep connections with people. I really want to build a community beyond just the city that I'm in. You know, I've been in Kenosha for a while. I've traveled all over the country for a long time, but like, my life at this point is bigger than this place. You know, no offense to anybody that lives here, but like, I am on to something much bigger, and I am excited to document this journey and get insight from other people. And with that being said, God bless, and I'm gonna start putting videos out pretty regularly, and I'm gonna start doing flashback videos, and I'm gonna start putting out old interviews that people have done of me and I've done with people. But yeah, thank you so much. Stay tuned. Peace.